An Irish passport in 2025 Ireland is absolutely worthless. It represents no cultural heritage. It represents nothing nowadays. Today, we have a few different news segments, but first we have Nick Delahanty running for Irish president, talking about why an Irish passport is being given away to random people. So it says here, growing up, we were taught to believe that the Irish passport was something special, a badge of honor, a gateway to the world. Yeah, you know, one of the best passports. You could go to the US, you could go to flipping Australia, you could go other places on holidays, visas. It was amazing. It's allowed me to travel globally, freely, and any dodgy border crossing, I'd hand it to the guard and think to myself, I'm Irish, we're sound. Let me in for feck's sake. Kind of true, you know, whenever I go anywhere, I kind of hand in the Irish passport and they're looking at me and they're like, haven't seen many of you lads lately, because Ireland is such a small country. We're seen as people with no empire behind us or enemies before us, and, you know, get major respect for fighting the Brits. And in my personal opinion, you know, we also were colonized for 800 years. So, you know, not that it's good to be colonized, but of course, like, it's, you know, it's seen as sort of a, we've had a, you know, pretty suppressed past. We've had an oppressive past. Our passport is a natural resource. So why are we giving it away so easily? And this is actually a good point here, lads. Anyone can apply for Irish citizenship by naturalization after just 5 years of residency, okay? And it doesn't even have to be 5 continuous years. So you can just live somewhere else, but come back and live in Ireland for another few years, and you get given your passport. I think it's even less than that. I know 5 years is like the standalone, but I think you can probably apply, yeah, after 3 years of marriage or 4 years if you're working here. Stuff like that is, there's actually easier ways to get it even than that, okay? A lot of people don't even know. There is no language test. You don't have to speak Irish. You don't have to know about Michael Collins, about the, you know, our founding fathers, so to speak. You know, like, we don't have to know about the cultural heritage. Now, I'm a tour guide in Ireland, okay? The west of Ireland, the wild Atlantic way. And I know probably more about Galway than the average person, okay? Especially over the last year, okay? Definitely. You know, maybe not more than the average Galwegian. I'd say a lot of people from Galway know about the culture because it's a very small city. It's a very tight-knit community, somewhat. I mean, that's going away now. But people that live here, my dad, you know, old Irish, you know, men from Galway their whole lives would kind of know a lot about the city. But there's no language test. There's no cultural test, no civics or culture test, no formal integration check. I mean, even like when I was watching those American movies growing up, you'd have to like recite the flipping national anthem and that whole, you have to like do a whole bunch of stuff to get into the US. And my friend as well, his dad immigrated there. So like, you know, you have to do like a whole bunch of different tests. You have to know about the history. You have to pass, you know, 50 questions, you know, who's whatever, George Washington, shit like that. You don't have to know about any of our founding fathers. And that's a key point for me, guys. That is a key point, because if you don't even know how we formulated as a country, you know, how we fought back against them, 1922, 1916, if you don't know these key dates and how we fought off oppression, how can you have any sort of connection to the country if you don't even know what happened? I'd argue that even ethnicity-wise is one thing. We can talk about ethnicity-wise one thing. But just talking about knowledge about a country, half the people roaming around here don't know shit about Ireland, don't know the culture, don't know who fought, who died for the country. People died for the country, guys. That's a big thing. You know, I know they're not around nowadays, but their ancestors still probably live here. So we're one of the only EU countries that has no requirement to speak our national language or understand the Constitution, values, or even basic Irish history. The Constitution is a tough one because, you know, my brother has it, like we have it at the house, you know, it's gas to look at once in a while. And the average person, you know, you should know your constitution of your country, like, but obviously that's kind of a tough one, you know, because to learn all the feckin' whatever. But to have a basic value and understanding of Irish history, like maybe you should be taken out to the bog to do a full day of labor. Like I would have a bunch of requirements to get an Irish passport, full day of labor at the bog, you know, you have to do like, you know, you have to drink, you know, 5 Guinness, you know, something that's fun as well, but you know, that's a bit stupid. I'm kind of joking, guys. But something that's good, like work at the bog for a day or a week or a month, you know, help like milk cows, help like farm cattle, shit that's like, you know, culturally Irish, you know, like maybe you have to learn like an Irish instrument, a harp or like a barron or like a flippin' whatever, you know, something that's culturally Irish, right? But no, nothing. But in India, it takes 12 years and you have to give up your original citizenship. Okay, how many South Asians are in Ireland? How many Indian people are in Ireland? Countless, guys, countless people. In Switzerland, it's 10 to 12 years, and even your neighbors can veto you out. So even if they don't like you, you won't get it. In Nigeria, it's 15 years with no guaranteed proof of approval. So in Nigeria, they don't want you as a citizen, basically. In Denmark, it's 9 years with a strict language, cultural test, and self-sufficiency rules. That's a long time, Denmark. Germany, it's 8 years plus language and civics tests. Pakistan takes 7 years, and the UAE or China are practically impossible. You know, my family, we had to leave in the 80s. Well, before I was born, my family had to leave, my dad and stuff, because he just couldn't get a job. It was horrendous here, right? He worked for 10, 15, 20 years abroad. Then we came back home, but he worked in the Middle East, and you cannot get a passport, you cannot own property. And I'd be in favor of doing that in Ireland, guys. You know, not owning property here until you have a passport, which should take you 20 years, okay? Knowing the language. You know, to get an Irish passport must be impossibly difficult. We're practically giving it away. We should have even more harsher than the UAE, you know, than the Middle East. You should be even, maybe, you know, because I think you have to be Muslim as well to, you have to practice Islam. Maybe you have to practice Christianity to get an Irish passport. Who knows, guys? Like, we can make it very tough for people to get Irish passports. We can do that easily, guys. And that's not to say that, you know, to hell with everybody else, but make it hard, guys. Make it so if you want to come here, if you want to be an Irish citizen, you have to become an Irish citizen. And by that, you know, we have to do a few hard steps to do that, right? In Iceland, it's 7 years with strict language test. In Ireland's approach makes little sense. We have the best product for the cheapest price. Other countries protect the citizenship like it's gold, as we should too. We don't value our own passport, so why should anybody else? Yeah, perfectly said, guys. I mean, any country outside of Europe, Ireland, they make it impossibly difficult to get any of these flipping things, you know? And it's just crazy, guys. You know, we have people disrespecting us. Here is an article from an Indian person disrespecting us on Reddit, calling people from Dublin scroats, okay? And looking to create an app to avoid them, okay? They also want Indians to get a new transport police jobs to look out for other Indians. It's like they're forming their own communities while we're all just hating on each other. The Irish, we hate each other while everybody else is forming other communities, you know? It's just ridiculous, guys, you know? It's just ridiculous. I mean, there's no sense of, you know, sense of companionship, morale here. It's been killed in real time. Like, it's just been absolutely killed. Even here, it says, this is from Mandigal. The reality is, even as Ireland has suffered at the hands of the British for several centuries, Ireland in this century has not yet come to terms with its own whiteness and white privilege. Like, what the? This is by an Indian lady, I suppose. I don't know where she's from. Priyanka Bor Pujari. And, you know, that's fine. She can have her opinion. You know, I'm a freedom of speech guy. But it's absolute bollocks, guys. I mean, what she's saying there is absolute nonsense. Like, what do you mean white privilege? Like, this is the shit, guys. And people go on about this from Western countries. You know, only in the Western world would you hear about that. You'd never hear about someone from the Middle East say, "Oh, we have this Semite privilege," or you know whatever privilege, Chinese privilege. Like, that just doesn't even exist, guys. Like, it's just bullshit. Now, obviously, some people have rich and wealth for millions of years, you know, hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands of years, and they acquired that wealth and, you know, capitalism. And we can talk about that, guys. There is obviously a big divide between the rich and the have-nots. You know, let's just be honest, lads. That divide, there is no middle class anymore. Middle class is getting eroded like crazy, guys. I don't personally think there's a middle class in Ireland anymore. I think it's basically the people that have a lot and the people that kind of have nothing. You know, plain and simple. So it's kind of crazy when I hear people go on about it. I mean, it's just like white privilege. Just like, I never had any privilege, guys. I lived in my front room of my house, in my parents' house, until now. I'm working every day at videos. I wasn't growing up with a silver spoon. We didn't have much. We basically just had a house and a car for 12 years, and maybe about 10 years ago, we got more, and we worked harder, and we got more, and we got more. My parents were teachers. Montessori and a secondary school teacher, barely. My dad obviously couldn't find work again. It was very tough for us. Like, so when I hear white privilege, I just get so pissed. I'm like, God, Jesus Christ. We barely had a house, guys. Like we did not grow up with any sort of wealth whatsoever. We brought shit back, you know, when we moved here when I was 6. You know, but like it was just crazy, guys. Like we didn't have shit, like basically for many years, 12 plus years. And then you have people basically kind of explaining to you that, you know, you are more privileged than other people, but that is obviously not the case, you know, obviously definitely not the case. So it says here, this is kind of a funny post for all the people that, you know, are into entertainment. This is a bit of a side note. It says Donald Trump disses Charlemagne the God on Truth Social. I hate Charlemagne the God, okay? I absolutely hate Charlemagne the God. I've hated him for like 10 years. He's actually a racist in my opinion, guys. He just hates white people, and it's a bit weird, you know what I mean? Because I've always thought America is like the least racist country in the world. When I went to America and Canada, like there was no racism whatsoever. It was just, you couldn't be racist in those countries. But let's see what Donald Trump says, okay? So Donald Trump roasts him after Charlemagne the God suggests traditional Republicans will use rivaled interests in the Jeffrey Epstein files to take over the GOP again. Okay, so let's see what he says. So Donald Trump says, the very wonderful and talented Lara Trump, whose show is a big rating success, put racist sleazebag Charlemagne the God. Why is he allowed to use the word God when describing himself? Can anyone imagine the uproar there would be if I used that nickname? That's kind of true. He's a low IQ individual and has no idea what words are coming out of his mouth and knows nothing about me or what I've done, like ending 5 wars, including 30-year bloodbath in the Republic of Congo and Rwanda, where 7 million people died and there was no end in sight. He didn't know that India or Pakistan are wiping out Iran's nuclear capabilities or closing the horrendous open border or creating the greatest economy where prices and inflation have come way down, and the stupid and corrupt Joe Biden set the record for doing the worst job as president ever. But this dope Charlemagne would vote for Sleepy Joe or Kamala. Remember 1 year ago when our country was dead? Now it's the hottest country in the world. MAGA. It's pretty funny. I mean, Charlemagne the God just says shit, you know, kind of, you know, offhand. I think that his sort of reviews of things are just always terrible. Like he just thinks that he's like way smarter than he is. He's like, oh, I'm Charlemagne the God. And he has really like a lot of high up friends, you know, in the system. And I think he's bought and paid for it. Like this guy is, just wait guys, give it another 10, 15 years. You'll come out about what Charlemagne, what he, and how close ties he has to these corrupt elitists. Just wait guys. So here's another segment here from Tim Dillon. Okay, and a message to Sydney Sweeney. We know Sydney Sweeney, of course, had that American Eagle advertisement, and she destroyed, okay, this sort of woke BS the last few weeks. So let's hear it.
Sydney Sweeney's a Nazi. Who cares? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tim Dillon Show. Sydney Sweeney's a Nazi. Who cares? Who cares? Don't we have more important things to worry about than whether Sydney Sweeney wants a white future for this country? No, I'm literally serious. Why does it matter to me that Sydney Sweeney wants to live in a white country with white babies sucking on her white titties? Why would that matter to me? If Sydney Sweeney wants her white breast milk from her white titties to feed her white babies who grow up to be white warriors in a white country, why would I care? Why does that destabilize my day? That Sydney Sweeney simply wants a white man to put his white semen in her white body, to have white babies who will feast on her white breast milk that comes out of her formidable white titties.
Formidable. Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't care either. Like, I don't really care about what other races want to do for their own people. I mean, I just don't give a shit, guys. This whole kind of race war, culture war thing, Sydney Sweeney's a Nazi, I just don't see it, guys. Like, I just don't care. Other races do what other people want to do. They want to stick together. People can stick together. I just don't give a shit, guys. This stuff is just so irrelevant to me. It's unbelievable. But obviously the woke left, the Marxist communists, they want to get so fired up about it. It's just ridiculous, you know?
And then they become white warriors in a white army, in a white country, to fight for Christendom, to save Europe, to save the Western world. Why is that such a big deal that American Eagle has chosen to highlight these wants and needs of hers? It's supposed to be a big deal that Sydney's that ad that says Sydney Sweeney, 1488, we must secure a white future for white children. or whatever, 14 words, Sydney Sweeney, the Jewish question, Sydney Sweeney. Why is that such a big deal? Why is it such a big deal that Sydney Sweeney did an ad with her tits out and said, and the pull quote from the ad, which seems to upset a lot of people, is she has good genes.
Is Tim Dillon trolling here? I don't understand his humor here, okay?
Right? Sydney Sweeney has good genes. And then under that it said, there are a lot of them in media. Why is that such a problem?
Huh.
If that's the pull quote, Sydney Sweeney, American Eagle, there are, quote, a lot of them in media. What does she mean by that? Who are them? Well, what does it matter? She's just an attractive Nazi woman.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny, guys. Like, obviously he's trolling right there, but it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I just don't understand. I don't really care about race. Like I've said on the channel before. I mean, obviously you want to see your people doing well. Like, I wouldn't want to see Irish people not doing well, you know, but it's like, it's just ridiculous, guys. Like, people just get so fired up about that bullshit, and it's like, there's countless ads in other countries depicting all sorts of crazy shit racially. So I don't know, man, but let me know your thoughts. I love you all. If you guys want to support me, hit the link underneath the video that says join, okay, and join the membership community. We have like 15 members now. We get new members every single day, so I greatly appreciate that, guys. We're not slowing down here. We're not stopping the reporting of all the bullshit mainstream media. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this one about passports. It's actually crazy, guys. The passport situation here is just, it's just insane. I mean, passports are like less than Skittles now. Like, nobody even gives a shit about passports anymore. Like, passports are just, you know, it is what it is, man. You know, they're commonplace now. And, you know, it's really shouldn't be like that, guys. But yeah, I love you all, and I will see you all in the next one, guys. Peace.